Okay, so I've gotten a few questions on this worksheet, the worksheet Fnet equals MA. So I wanted to kind of walk you through my thought process on one of these questions. I'd like that question to be number 7 that we go over together. I'm choosing number 7 because I think it's pretty comprehensive. So if you had trouble with part 1, part 2, or part 3, this should maybe help answer some of those questions. So question number 7, we're given a free body diagram. We have spring force up, we have the force due to gravity down, and we have the force of tension to the right. We're given a couple values to help us out. I'm going to start on the left column that says the y direction, the up and down direction. I'm going to ask myself, are those forces balanced or unbalanced? And it looks like to me the upward spring force is balanced out by the downward force due to gravity. So I'm going to say that these forces are balanced. And we know from Newton's second law that if our forces are balanced, that means we have 0 acceleration. I'm going to write an equation using Newton's second law, Fnet equals ma, but I'm going to try to expand Fnet into my up minus down. So again, I'm going to take my ups minus my downs and set it equal to ma. Here, my up is F spring minus my down Fg. Now I want you to know, if you have more than one up, you make them both positive. If you have more than one down, you make them both negative. The new part here is that we need to solve for the gravitational force. We're going to use this equation to solve for Fg. In fact, I'm just going to bring this equation down and rewrite it for myself. Okay, I'm noticing that one of my givens is going to be the force, the spring force, the 20 newtons. So I'm going to plug that into my equation. Of course, I'm trying to solve for Fg, so it makes sense that I don't know anything about it. Another one of my givens was the mass, 2 kilograms. And I'm looking at my last, my Ay, and I'm so tempted to use my last given, Ax equals 7 meters per second squared. But I want you to be really careful. This acceleration can only be used in the x direction. And here we're working in the y direction. So we need a value for Ay, and I want to bring your attention to what we previously determined, that the acceleration must be 0 because our forces are balanced. So because of that, my Ay value, it's almost like a hidden given. My acceleration in the y direction is 0. From there, I can work on solving this equation. 20 minus Fg equals 2 times 0, which just simplifies to 0. I'll subtract 20 from both sides, leaving me with negative Fg equals negative 20. I'll divide both sides by negative 1. You could also multiply by negative 1. It's really just a way of getting rid of the negative, so that I can find Fg equals 20. Now, really important, no number should ever be without units. So this could be 20 millimeters, 20 light years, 20, we need units on this 20. Because we just solved for the force due to gravity, I know the units must be newtons. Beautiful. So now our y direction, we've successfully determined the forces, the acceleration. We've used Newton's second law's equation in order to solve for an unknown. We're going to follow a similar process, but now we're going to shift our focus to the x direction, so the left-right direction. I'm noticing in my left-right, my x direction, force of tension to the right, but nothing to the left. This is telling me that my forces are unbalanced. We know that unbalanced forces leads to changes in our velocity, meaning a non-zero acceleration. We're going to use Newton's second law, Fnet equals ma, but we're going to expand what Fnet is. Now, because we're working in the x direction, we're always going to do right minus left. To the right here, I have my tension force. And to the left, I have nothing. So I'm going to put in a 0 placeholder. If you come across a problem where you have 2 forces to the right, you're going to make both of them positive. Or if you have a couple forces to the left, you make all of them negative. So then we're asked to solve for the tension force. So we're going to use this equation. I'm just going to copy it down below. Ft minus 0 equals max. Or I'll drop the 0 because anything minus 0 is just itself. I'm trying to find tension, so it makes sense I don't know that yet. I'm looking up here at my givens, and I know that my mass is 2 kilograms. And the acceleration in the x direction is 7 meters per second squared. I want you to know that if your acceleration ever is listed as negative, you should include that negative in this equation. I'll simplify this out. 2 times 7 is 14. But as always, I need to get some units on this answer. And since I just solved for the force due to tension, I know the units must be newtons.